once we take it off, it's like,
It almost feels like when you take off the headphones that you're exiting a spaceship or something. It's like you're getting back to reality.
Hell yeah.
You don't think so?
Maybe. That water's for you, by the way.
Thank you.
Is it Ceseli?
Ceseli.
That's a unique name.
Thank you.
I knew a Cecily in school.
Do you really?
One. So it is
I have a
very
student named Cecily. She popped up to one of my classes one time and she's like, "Hi, my name's Cecily." And I was like, "Hold on, what?"
Is that a European name? Like, what ethnicity is it? I feel like it shouldn't be a white girl name.
Oh, I don't know, honestly. Like,
Okay.
it's not. I don't really know where it came from. My mom said she like heard it and loved it and stuck with her.
That's very
and
cool.
I Googled it and there's nothing. So,
How long have you been in the Lake Jackson area?
so I moved to Lake Jackson, I guess 2018. So about 5-6 years now.
Are you like out of Texas or
I'm from Kemah area.
Okay.
Really, like I grew up in Bay Cliff, like right on the water over there.
water vibes
Yeah,
for sure?
I miss it, but it's cool.
Isn't it
Country
funny?
girl now.
Do you profile people still?
Everybody does, but
Yeah.
you're saying it a lot out loud.
I profile. You gave me like the beach vibes. I was thinking California.
Everybody tells me that since
Yeah.
I was little.
Really?
Well, how'd you get this influence? Is it just social media?
What do you mean?
Normally, like influenced by the area you're at, and I feel like Lake Jackson isn't this.
Shit, honestly, it's just been me. Like I'm just been my own vibe, even in high school. Like it's just been different, and I follow it, and just super authentic, and I just kind of create my own style and vibe, and
That's cool.
yeah.
So was yoga a passion for you growing up?
No, not really. I was in sports a lot. Like I did all the sports, very active physically, all the things, and I got into yoga like 20 maybe. And it was purely physical. I was like, yeah, I got like the yoga body, all the things, and then I quickly started seeing the mental, benefits and all and everything that follows,
So for those who don't know and are just listening, can you kind of summarize who you are and your interests, and definitely touch on yoga?
Definitely, yeah. So my name is Ceseli Bowen. Maiden name is Slovacek. I was married. My husband passed last year, so I'm I don't know. It's Bowen, but I'm still very identified with Slovacek still. Like I said, I moved out to Lake Jackson area about 5 years ago from Kemah, and very into like all the sports, all the things, everything physical, and as my journey has progressed, it's more mental, so that's where the yoga falls in. And I'm just like passionate about like peace on the planet. Like my 16th birthday party was peace signs.
Nice.
Like I don't know, it's just in me, right? So like peace and community and healing and connection and all the things, and yoga, painting, gardening, golf. I mean the list literally goes on and on and on. So
The community around here is starting to, I feel like, step into the more holistic vibe, from yoga to eating to skincare. I feel like it's really building up. Are you seeing that at your studio too?
absolutely. And I think like Lake Jackson's kind of in its own little world, is definitely like a little slower, but absolutely. Yeah, and people come to my studio and they're like, "Oh my God, like so glad you're here. I've been wanting yoga here forever. Just thank you for creating it,
Yeah. Is there any other yoga studio in town?
Mm-mm.
You're the only one.
I'm the only one.
I think there's one included, isn't there?
So it was called Balance Yoga, and they closed down during COVID.
Oh,
Mhm.
so it's not, you're the only one though.
I'm the only one.
It's a monopoly, man. I'm
I'm
gonna
telling
report
you.
A monopoly.
So I haven't been to that place. What is it called?
Shri Yoga School.
Okay. And what's that by?
It's right in downtown, like across the street from Brody's. There's like a little bar. Like there's bodegas, and it's on that little strip right
Okay.
there.
That's a
Mhm.
good little spot.
Yeah.
It's like right behind Refine on the other side, right?
So that's
in
where
front?
that was my old location. I just
Oh.
moved to my new location in October. So
Okay.
I was in a shared building before, and like nobody knew I was there, and it was very hard, getting, visibility and everything. And my new spot, I got storefront, windows, plants, all the things.
Nice.
Yep.
So you,
Hold on. You're not on the corner, are you?
I'm on the corner down by Domino's, like right at the end.
we passed it today.
It's
too.
like pink and super cute.
Okay. She didn't take over Stardust, right?
No, that's on
that's the opposite end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other end. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good spot.
It is.
Right in
Yeah.
the
I
middle of
love
everything.
it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead. My bad. I was just
I lost my train of thought. Oh, so I saw you posting about is it Reiki healing?
Reiki.
What is that? And do you do that at the studio?
No, I don't do Reiki healing. I actually got my certification for it like many years. So when I first started my journey, I was like 20, and I was like, I just kept getting called to it, and I'm like, I don't know what it is, but I got to do something. So before I did yoga training, I did the Reiki certification, and it's deep. It's basically energy work, using your hands, working on people, and you got to be very intuitive, very tapped in to like be able to feel it. And basically the person lays down, you start on their head, use your hands, and you kind of start to move energy. And a lot of people who are kind of psychic and intuitive, they can tell you like different ailments or things. Like sometimes they even tell you things you don't even know about yourself. Like, hey, you've got a cancer here, or this here, and it's very amazing. But I was so early in my journey, I did the training and I was like, I don't even know what just happened. I don't know how to apply it. None of that. I
don't know if you've seen the videos, but it looks like women are like having orgasms when they're doing that. Is that what's going on? Is there like a sexual side of it too?
Maybe. And I think it depends. I think down in our community, not really, but like the whole tantra, like tantra, I'm about to go in. So the whole tantra yoga thing, that's where all this is kind of really deriving from, like sensuality, sexuality, women's empowerment, all the things. And yes, that is part of it, but it's just scratching the surface.
Okay.
Yeah.
You think that's like clickbait stuff? Like it's not really
It's like, I think it's like pseudo spirituality.
Is it normally guys leading that? You know how that gets us like a trap almost? Like
actually, there's a lot of guys who like start talking about it and like push it, but I think it's more women, and it serves a purpose, right? So like when you first kind of start your healing journey, you know, when you're working on your chakras and stuff, like your sacral chakra, it's your sexual energy.
What is what you just said?
The chakras.
You know what that is?
You have to.
I don't know much about.
Yes.
I'm like very. I eat steak and lift weights. Like just start with that.
Okay. So the chakras. Coming back to the whole Reiki question, you have an internal energy. So like we have our physical body, but we also have our energetic body, and there's like 7 main energy points in the body. And the first one is the root. The second one is the sacral. The third one is your solar plexus, like your hara, the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown. So each one kind of represents something different. Your root is like your safety, survival. Like this is like evolutionary, going back thousands of years, like safety, right? And then when you start to kind of heal that, work on that, then that gives rise to the next one, and that's your sexual energy. It's creative energy. It's like you're birthing, right? Like creating life, but it's also creativity, sensuality, all the things. So each one kind of gives rise to the next. You
keep like referring to your stomach. That makes me think of like microbiome health almost. There's a lot of talk about people relating like health to soil health. Is that kind of what you're talking about? Is it like diet health, or is it spiritual health? Like
it's
what is
all connected.
All of it? Okay.
It's physical. So if like say you have a block in your sacral chakra, that can show up as like reproductive issues, hormone issues, different types of like cancers maybe. So each one shows up as different like ailments.
And how do you get? You said you went to training for that. What is it called? Reiki. How do you learn about that? Isn't that something you just have to have experience with, be able to read situations?
I think it's like you can read all the books and do all the things and have the crystals and da-da-da-da-da, but like until you really experience it, you don't really know, you know? But yes, training, working with people, really like for me, I was like working on myself. That's how I really like started to understand all this.
Yeah, so it's a lot bigger than stretching, right? There's
deeper.
Yoga goes deep. Something I've always been interested in doing is Kundalini yoga. Have you ever experimented with that?
Kundalini yoga is awakening the chakras.
Yep.
That's all that is. So Kunda is like pit, the fire pit at the base of the spine. And when you begin Kundalini rising, you begin to awaken that, and you begin to awaken your energy. It's like a serpent.
It's kind of controversial, huh? It's almost like goes against religion, almost like to awaken your, I guess, snake, like your spine or whatever.
Energy, your power.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Especially in our area. It's a whole thing. Like, I get like messages and people are like, that's demon work and cult stuff and don't do it. And
like from older people, that's a belief.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Just yoga in general has like a negative connotation. But with Kundalini, like they always say, we have like little pet peeves of how we talk, but
we're not married.
But the awakening is like, it happens like after you practice it a lot, and you'll just know that all your chakras are unlocked. And is that something you've ever experienced? You have? What does it feel like?
It's hard to explain. So, like, for me, I really started my journey after my husband passed. So this is very recent. I'm still trying to find the words to, like, fully describe it. But, like, for me, like, you know, when he passed, I'm like, I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel stable, grounded. Like, my whole world just flipped upside down. So I just started at the root. And I'm like, the affirmations, like, I'm safe, I'm stable. I was wearing red all the time because there's colors that associate with each one as well. But over time, you just really start to get this sense of like, I am grounded and I am stable and I can take care of myself and I can do the things. It's just like this power. Like, it's so hard to explain, but it's like, it's a knowing. It's a deep knowing. And then from there, I started like tapping into the creativity, and like I got into like painting again, and like, I don't know, I want to get into music and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, it's just this. It's so hard to explain.
You tap into this by doing stretches or like meditation, or is there a sequence of things that you do? Like,
because Kundalini is like repetitive movements, isn't it? Repetitive movements to where it's under a certain amount of time, or.
So that's like Kundalini yoga. There's like, that's a technique to try to awaken that. But lots of meditation, lots of shadow work. We can get into that in a minute.
What's going on here? Huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of talk about breath work. Do you know who Gary Brecka is?
No.
He's like this health expert. He was on a couple of big podcasts. He's on Rogan, and then he obviously exploded from there. But he talks about the importance of breath work. Is that some of the stuff that you do? I know, like yoga, I've watched some videos on YouTube, and like breathing at the right time is very important, and it gets you to that like flow state almost during yoga.
Yep.
Is that all part of the system?
It's all part of the system. So like coming back to yoga, the postures that people like, you know, that we practice in class, that's just one little part of it. So there's actually 8 limbs to yoga. So the first 2 are kind of like how to show up in the world. So it's called the yamas and the niyamas, like non-violence, non-stealing, surrender to God, discipline, like how you want to live your life. Those are the foundations. And then from there is asana. So asana is our postures that we do in class. Then breath work. And then pratyahara, which means controlling your senses, or like withdrawing from the senses. So the phones, all the external instant gratifications. And that's basically what I'm doing with my fast right now. Like, I got all my thoughts coming up, my patterns. Like, I really want some wine, and I was hangry today because I'm on day 3.
I'm glad I didn't offer you some. I was going to offer you some wine, but I heard
probably
the fast.
would have, so thank you for not. Yeah.
How long are you fasting for?
So I got 3 days, or I was going to do 3 days, but I think I'm going to go for 4 or 5. Yeah, because I feel like I do it all the time. So, like, normally, like, when I first started fasting, day 1 was hard. Day 2, I'm like, fuck this, you know, and then day 3, I'm like, oh, I feel great, right? Well, now I'm like, day 1, day 2, even today, I'm like, I feel pretty good. Today is when the hangry started happening. So I'm like, well, I think I'm just getting stronger and I can go longer. So I'm gonna try to push it.
How long I did my longest fast this year? I did 3 days, I think, was my longest one. Mike has done a 14-day, 11-day.
Yeah, I got crazy into that. That's why I know a little bit about yoga and stuff.
What did that look like?
bad.
He almost died.
Well, like it was like water or juice or
Water.
what for 14 days with no like preparation
No,
beforehand.
I prepped. I went through a whole journey. I was vegan, and then I did what is it called? Raw vegan. Then I went just fruit, and then I started doing long fast. So like 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, and then I went to 14.
Damn.
And so through that whole process, I went from like 200 pounds to like 150 when I was just doing the dieting, and then when I did the fast, I lost 20 pounds on 14 days.
In 14 days. Wow.
Yeah, that was bad. I was like reading a book about like long-term fasts, and it's not abnormal. You get out of bed too quick and you want to pass out.
Mhm.
And so it tells you about that. Get up slow. Don't do too many activities.
But you weren't doing electrolytes or anything.
No, that's one thing I regret, as I didn't say anything about taking on like any type of electrolytes, like some sodium or potassium or anything like that.
Are you doing that right now?
Mm-mm.
Should be.
I don't really feel like I need it because
No?
I'm doing the juice. I'm doing like the juice fast from like squeezed or whatever. So I'm still getting like
Oh, okay.
day one, you drink all the juices. It's like 6 in a day. I'm like bloated. I'm full. I'm like, so now I just had one today. So I think I'm just going to save the rest and, like I said, draw it out for a few more days.
Are you a vegetarian?
Not really, no, but like what I do try to do is like sustainable, like all natural. So like the meat I eat, like deer meat,
Nice.
I have a whole freezer of stuff, and I also garden, so I like try to grow my own veggies. It's not like huge and like fully sustainable, but that's the long-term goal. So yeah, I have a lot of awareness around that, but I think that I've been through phases. So like I've been vegan for a short period of time. I did vegetarian for a very long time, and there's something about like eating raw meat or like meat that you harvest and prepare, and I don't know, the intention behind it.
Yeah, no, agree.
Mhm.
I feel so much better getting meat from my family. We have I'm blessed that my family has cattle, and I can buy a cow from them once a year. And it feels so much better going to my freezer getting that meat than going to the store and getting meat that's colored with food dye and no telling where it's coming from.
And they're pumped up with all the chemicals.
Yeah.
And I saw this thing like a couple years back that like this big 18-wheeler was on its way to some agriculture farm up north, and it got in a wreck, and it was filled with red Skittles. And that's what they were feeding these cows.
No way.
And we know what red dye does to us. Like, yeah. They're feeding the cows fucking red Skittles, and then we're consuming that. Like,
what?
Yes.
That sounds expensive.
A lot of Skittles.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy, though?
Yeah.
Like, so that was what really, like...
Is that really true? They were really feeding cows red Skittles?
Mm-hmm.
I have to look into that.
Look into it. There's articles and all kinds of stuff.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Let's get out of everything. Why don't they just feed them food dye?
I guess because it helps them gain weight because all the sugar and...
Isn't corn cheaper than Skittles?
No.
We have to check that one, too.
No, dude. Corn's
Skittles?
expensive.
Red Skittles? They don't just
Yeah.
produce
Well,
red
if there's
Skittles.
a drought,
You have to pick
you
'em out
can't
of the
grow
pack,
That's
dude.
true. Yeah.
If there's a drought, you can't grow
I don't
corn,
really
dude.
know. I guess I could have looked more
We
into
can make it in the
that.
lab. We can make meat in the lab. You
Well,
think
now we
make
can.
corn?
What do you think about that? Have
That
you been
shit's
seeing that?
crazy.
Have you seen the latest stuff about it?
Mm-mm.
There's this vegan company that we try to get on.
I think I saw your post, actually. But
okay.
I refreshed my memory.
Yeah, so there's this vegan company that started up, and they were like, vegan food doesn't taste good. Doesn't taste good at all. So at their house, they were cooking Beyond Meat burgers and then adding pork fat in it, like real pork fat. So I like how she laughed. That's funny. It's so funny, right? So they were like, oh my God, this tastes really good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
So then their whole business model, which is a big business now, is creating lab cultured pig fat or just animal fat in general and adding that to the fake meat.
To make it taste good.
To make it taste good. So it's almost there. I feel like I don't know what other thing. I didn't think about that, but I feel like we're almost one step back, right? We've done the circle, like creating fake meat. Now we're adding fat to it.
Back in.
What's the next thing that
I think
before we go right back to animal meat?
it's all conspiracy, dude. I think it's there's a whole
There's a whole movement. That's a word. That's one of the words, right?
I like that one still. I'll hate it later. But it wouldn't be far-fetched to get everybody on this vegan movement, care about the animals, all this stuff, and then produce all of the things. So like figure out how to make all this meat and like in foods or whatever, and then patent the shit out of everything so that everything can be sold, and you can't go hunt your animal or you can't go grow your food. It's the whole, we talked about Bill Gates before and him trying to patent vegetables and fruits and stuff. But now they're getting the meat space, so we're like save the planet, but they're also going to be selling meat that they patented, and they're going to get profit off of it. So it's like,
That's wild.
It's wild. And then half the shit's made out of soy, which is also
Yeah.
horrible for you. All these studies coming out, like the testosterone and like all the things.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. And soy's grown too. So
Well, it's like chemically made too.
yeah, I mean,
like
and then
one of the
also
worst
the
ones.
vegans, like, I love the idea of like fresh eating and all the things, but like the ones that I know, I love you guys, but like they don't eat clean. It's like chicken nuggets and fucking Oreos and like.
I try to be we talked to this one vegan that Mike met in Hawaii, right? Her name's Chef Bay, and she's a cookbook author, and she has a large following on social media. And it was when I was real immature and like it was just like 6 months ago.
That's bad.
But I just got into carnivore, and I was bought in. And I'm the kind of person that if I buy into it, I buy into it all the way. And I didn't have a conversation with her. I was just questioning her and challenging her and like, well, what about this? And like, what about this idea?
I hated that. I was vegan at the time too.
He was vegan.
So.
I know. Mike was over here like biting his mouth. He was like, oh.
We're trying to get different views on the podcast. So it's like, that's part of it. But
But I wasn't as accepting to it. But it's hard to accept some of the crazy ideas that they believe, that monocropping large fields with corn or soybeans or whatever they grow is better than a cow or a buffalo or like a natural animal that's sequestering carbon or whatever, all those like key buzzwords that everybody uses, but that's more natural and better than vegan. But anyway,
I think we just have to find a balance, because ultimately there's like too much meat, like collectively too much meat consumption. You don't need to eat meat for every single fucking meal.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Well, in my opinion, like, I think we're just as a society like over consuming everything, and that's where like I think the agriculture issues are kind of arising from.
Right.
If like we hunted and like lived off the land, and I know that's not really real anymore because like how many people we have, but like just finding the balance somewhere.
Yeah. I agree with you. It can't be. Not everything's black and white.
Right.
Like there's not, and that's kind of how I feel about the carnivore diet too. I think it's probably better than a lot of other diets out there, but not. It's crazy to believe that this one diet is the best for everybody.
Right. Everybody's different. Our makeups are different. We require different things.
Yeah.
There is no one size fits all.
Yeah.
Well, you can tell by fasting like you have been how much you really don't need to eat, because you can last at least 5 days, So as I was fasting all the time, I was like, man, you really only have to eat like every other day.
Mm-hmm.
And you really don't have to eat then.
Even before the fast, like 1 meal a day is good for me. Like I'm good on that. And that's probably, like you're saying, maybe too much, But the reason I did the fast, I'm like in a new relationship. We're out eating, drinking, like all the things. And I'm like, I feel like shit.
Yeah.
I'm so bloated. Like I don't feel like myself, So we're both like doing it right now.
That's great. That's great when both of your, the partners can agree on a health journey. Yeah. But it's a society. It's a social thing. Going out to eat, eating 3 meals a day.
You feel pressured. Yeah. Like I went to the rodeo yesterday, and it's like trying to do better, but I mean, nothing there is good to eat. And then you get a drink, and then the next thing you know, you're blacked out on the couch. Not lying. So, yeah.
That's wild, dude.
It's tough.
My thing is like when I'm drinking is when I make bad eating choices, and I'm like not even hungry, and I'm like, oh shit, let's go to Whataburger. Like
there's nothing that beats a Whataburger
when
you're drunk though. When you're drunk, that's the best. The honey butter biscuit
or a
sandwich.
hangover, like
it's like they reverse engineered it they were like, hey, let's make the most craveable food for a drunk person. And they like got test tubes and stuff, and then like just came out as Whataburger. And then they're like, hey, let's take a long fucking time to make the food. Piss them off.
Exactly.
Why can't they get like Chick-fil-A? I mean, just put another line and put some people out there with a clipboard. Isn't that how they do it?
They're starting to do it now, aren't they?
It's not fast.
It's very frustrating.
Is it? When's the last time you had Whataburger?
Man.
Yesterday.
No, it's actually been a minute.
Yeah.
Maybe like a month or so.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it do you practice like diet advice at the yoga studio?
So it's more so vibration. Foods hold vibration like as we do, right? So there's 3 different words. I'm going to just use some yoga words, but like tamasic, rajasic, and sattvic. And like tamasic is like, think heavy, dull, processed foods, Whataburger, unfortunately. Stuff like that. And then rajasic is like the coffee, the meats, things that are kind of hard to like digest or like assimilate. And then sattvic is like wave-like. So like your fruits, your veggies, like but we've got to have a little bit of all of it, right? It's all about balance. But like when you have too much like tamasic food, then it can weigh you down. Like then your frequency starts to drop. You start to feel heavy, dull, and then that's like a heavy spiral. And then now you're addicted to it, and it's just heavier and heavier. And then that's kind of where like depression and some of those like heavier mental things arise from. So it's all connected, like the quality of consumption. It's really interesting, like what you're listening to, what you're watching, what you're eating, what you're drinking. Everything's vibration.
Then when we give off vibrations,
we all have vibration.
What kind of vibration do you get off of me and Mike?
You guys are fun. Y'all are light. Yeah.
Not so much here though, huh? Real heavy.
Real heavy, huh?
Real heavy. You guys are fucked.
Water. I like that.
That's good.
We told you to cuss, but not this much.
Yeah. Hey, pipe it down a little bit, huh?
He is hangry. He's like, fucking Whataburger. Give me a
He's like,
Whataburger.
Fuck. Yeah, y'all got me thinking about Whataburger now. No,
that's
funny.
So, like, that's what you teach at the studio?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what can someone expect? Like, listening to the podcast, what would, if someone wants to go sign up at your studio, what are some of the things that they could expect?
Sure. So I don't really use these words as often in like general classes, but I have workshops, so it's different. So I have like classes, and I talk a lot about the breath, the postures, and that's more physical breath. But I do meditation classes, and that's where we start getting more subtle, and that's more about the mind, accessing your thoughts and patterns and stuff. And then I have workshops where I'll like dive deep into what I was just sharing, and that's Ayurveda. So like yoga and Ayurveda, they go together. They're like sister sciences. So yoga is like the how, like the postures, the breath, blah blah blah, and Ayurveda is everything else. It's the cycles, the rhythms, nature basically. It looks at nature and breaks it down into like how we are nature and how we can work with that to be balanced and thrive, basically. So like the seasons, and I don't know, it's just all rhythmic.
Well, it sounds like you're connecting, almost like trying to reconnect people with nature. When I'm hearing you speak, you talk about nature a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It almost sounds like you try to push people to get out of the offices more almost and reconnect with nature a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
And just understand that you are nature too. And like all of us, we're all affected. Like right now, as we move into spring, it's actually considered like the heaviest time of the year. So like it's called kapha, which is like water and earth, the elements. So think like the end of winter, the mountains, like the snow's melting, and it's just like thick and heavy. But it's also pure potential. So like the little seeds that are sprouting, and it's just like heavy. So when you realize that, it's like you don't have seasonal depression or whatever. It's just a collective energy frequency that we're all kind of affected by. And when you understand that, you're like, okay, it's heavy. So what do I need to do to balance that? I need to get my body moving. I need to quit eating so much food, drink more water. There's like, a whole bunch of lifestyle tips and different oils you can use. And yeah.
I don't think people think, I don't think this way when I think about yoga. It's so deep. It's a lot more than just stretching. when you know what I mean.
Mhm.
But from the average person that doesn't know about yoga, I listened to or watch some of the stuff that you post, and then my friend has a podcast and he's had a few yoga people on, and it goes much deeper than just a stretch. And I think that's what people think and is. It's just like, oh, it's just a stretching class.
Especially here in the West, we like to kind of change things, right? So, yeah. And that's my whole goal with the studio and like my platform is like teaching people that it's way deeper than stretching.
Yeah.
And it's like really self-study, learning yourself and how to like live your best life basically.
Doesn't it overlap with like Buddhism in some cases?
It's all kind of connected. Yeah, I think it's all kind of derived from like a similar foundation.
It's all like from Indian based, right?
Mhm.
Because yoga is from like someone's name. I read a book. There's a guy named something Yogi. Like his whole name was. Is that true or no?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was a guy in India that wrote this book about all of the different yoga positions. And he was.
You might be talking about the sutras, like Patanjali, maybe. I don't know.
No, I'd have to
Is
look
that
up the
why
name.
it's controversial here in the West? Because it's derived from Buddha or another country, so it goes against Christian beliefs. Is that why?
I think there's some of that to it, and it's unknown. It's unknown. Like, what is the purpose of it? Like Western culture, whatever, doesn't recognize like emotions or anything. So we're just coming around. We're coming around to that, like the internal. So it's like the external is more important. So
yeah, I haven't heard that, but I know like yoga. It literally means to yoke, union. So union of mind, body, spirit, all the things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty deep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna look this guy up.
What's his name?
I just got on my phone.
I thought did Rogan have a guy on about this? Or a lady on?
He probably did.
What you were talking, I think if you would have kept talking, I would have remembered.
He would have got it.
No, I think it sounded familiar. Maybe I heard it from you.
It's saying Maharshi Panjani.
Patanjali.
Yeah.
Patanjali.
Okay.
Patanjali.
Is that what you said earlier?
Patanjali.
That's what I said. It said through yoga has been practiced in pre-Vedic period. The great sage, his name, I probably shouldn't be reading this.
The words are hard.
Let's just pretend that's
You want to cut this part out?
That's the last thing it said.
You want to cut this part out?
I'm pretty impressed you got the name right.
Yeah. So basically, like the yoga, it's a tradition, and it was a living tradition for like thousands of years. Like, and it was just passed down generation to generation. Patanjali is the first one who like put it into text. Yeah.
Did you go learn all this stuff on your own, or did you go to some class? Or
I'm in some pretty deep training currently still. I'm in a 500-hour training. I've been studying pretty intensively since 2018.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
What is did you get a certificate at the end of it, or what?
Yeah, but it's more so like a personal journey. It's like a life journey. So, you can go get your teacher training 200-hour, and you don't even got to teach. It's like I was saying, like, you're learning yoga, Ayurveda, and like how to better yourself. It's your own personal journey. And if you want to go, if you feel called to teach other people, then that's an option, of course, too. But like, you don't have to teach.
I hear even the way people talk about yoga that are in yoga, I hear them say, "I'm going to go practice yoga today." And people that are just kind of dabbling into it, they just say, "I'm going to yoga today."
Mm-hmm.
Is that something?
Practice?
Yeah, people say the people that are in yoga, like someone like yourself. I always hear them say, "I'm going to go practice yoga today."
Because it is a practice.
It's a practice. But
it's a practice.
It's like a spiritual practice.
And it's just tapping into yourself.
Wow.
God, all the things. Universe, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
How is the community receiving the information that you're giving them?
So, pretty good, very well. I don't really go too deep in, especially to like the God aspect right now. I don't think like people are really ready to like go there. So I've kind of been taught like you meet people where they're at, and that's what I've been doing.
What is like? How would you go into the God aspect? Like what does that mean?
like like source, like the creation of everything and us and how God flows through, and I really like don't really have the words to even go there, so maybe that's why I haven't started tapping into teaching that yet either. Yeah, it just goes so deep.
It probably especially for around here, it could be an uncomfortable conversation.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Is that typical? Like every yoga place I've ever went to, they didn't really teach you like ideology rather. Like it was just go through the class and you're done.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't really say like, you know, how the world works or anything like that.
Yeah, and it's like, that's why I offer different things. I have general classes for the general person who just wants to come do yoga that day. The meditation goes even more subtle than that, and then my workshops go even deeper than that. And I've been on this goddess kick for a while, so that's where a lot of the like archetypes and things start coming through. And I have been teaching that, but mostly to just women in a sacred space.
What is the goddess? Can you give us a little behind the curtain scene?
Yeah, so I mean, the God, like all of us, you guys are gods, we're goddesses, and that's what I was just saying, like God flows through you, and you have to remember that you are an extension of God flows through. And coming back to the whole authenticity thing, like you're like me, like I'm a goddess and I want to just fully be myself, express myself however that looks that day or that period of my life, because things are always changing. And just embracing yourself and loving yourself through the good times, the bad times, the perceived bad times, your shadows. I mean, all the things.
It's almost like a therapy session almost,
Absolutely.
but not like as maybe uncomfortable as a therapy session.
Yeah.
Are you getting feedback like while you're doing this from people?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
like, it's like a group session talk, yeah.
Even during my
That's really
meditation classes, like I've had a lady that's been coming to class for maybe 2 months now, and she came in, all kinds of problems, fibromyalgia, hip problems. She had like some cervical surgery, so she couldn't really turn her neck, things like that. So she's been coming to classes, like yoga classes and meditation, and just so happens that meditation class Thursday at noon is kind of a weird time. I just love it. So like there's been a few times where it's just been her and I, and she gets basically a private session, and it is therapy. Yoga therapy is a thing. It's called Chikitsa. And she told me the other day, she goes, I feel so good. I haven't felt this great in years.
Wow.
Like I feel happy. I can walk. I can do this. I can sleep and not be in pain. Like it's beautiful.
It's that consistent showing up to class. We always talk about that being consistent. It's hard nowadays to be consistent with, I feel like anything fitness related, and yoga is a fitness, a style of fitness, and you know, being healthy and accessing moves that you're not normally used to. I imagine that helps someone who probably didn't do any of that before.
Right. I think it's hard to be consistent with anything. You know, you've developed a habit and a pattern. Potentially it's taken years to develop. And when you start to like get tired of your own shit, you know, when you want to better yourself, you're still stuck in that pattern. You're going to fall back into it sometimes. But I teach my students, like, you begin again. You show up the next day or that next moment, the next breath, and you just start over and you just keep moving forward.
Have you seen a man make a whole lot of progress, like within the time you've been doing this?
Mm-hmm.
Like as far as flexibility?
Oh, yeah.
Like, so, like, I go down and touch my, try to touch my toes, and I'm probably like 6 inches away. I've stretched a lot to the point where I can put my hands on the ground, but I feel like some things I just will never be able to do, like the splits.
Sure.
Are there limitations where a guy couldn't do the splits because of his body type? Or
I know a man that can do the splits.
could he always do the splits, though?
He worked to it.
So he couldn't do it before, and then now he could do it.
Or could he almost do it before?
Do what?
Could he almost do it before?
I don't know.
I feel like some people are more inclined to be flexible.
Sure, and it's body type, right? Like, and then also in the whole yogic practice and the thought behind it, psychology, yoga psychology, is our thoughts manifest as emotions, which show up in the body. So I'm going to tread a little lightly here, but like any ailment, any disease that anybody is experiencing, is from thinking, of repetitive thought over and over and over and over, and it manifests into the body. But collectively, the hips are the first place that like all of this really sits into. So
Why
if
is it
you
the
have
hips?
tight hips, it's a root chakra thing. It all comes back to the chakras, like your root chakra. That's the very first one: stability, feeling safe, like you're part of the tribe, all the things, and that's the hips.
You're talking about anxiety, and that made me think about me and Mike always talk about anxiety. You comfortable with me talking about your cousin?
Sure.
Mike's cousin. We did a podcast with Mike's cousin. He was diagnosed with ALS, and he passed away like 12 months after we talked to him. But that, like, we struggle with anxiety a lot. We talked about it on the podcast, and no shit, like, the next day after we talked with him, I started developing twitches in my shoulder, and it was just from like manifesting, like hearing him talk about it, and then I followed a few people on my Instagram feed, and who were in the ALS community, and they all talked about twitching. So like within a 8-hour time period, I heard that, internalized it, woke up the next day, and my shoulder was twitching.
It's just reinforced.
Yeah.
And then you've got other people like reinforcing it with you.
Yeah.
And now it's a collective energy.
We ended up talking about it a lot, and it got so bad, and I was thinking it was the coffee. So I stopped drinking coffee for a long time, and then I really wasn't working out. I was eating like crap, and I think all that played a role into it, but I don't experience that anymore. And I feel like I've been going to therapy for personal reasons and working on myself a little bit, and I've noticed like I can drink like 7 cups of coffee a day, and it doesn't bother me at all. So it's just like how healthy your mind is and how powerful it is, because I almost feel like I'm not special, but I feel like my mind is really powerful. Like I can manifest anything.
All of us can.
Yeah, but mine's a little better. No.
Mine too.
But
Mine
is too. Yeah, I should have went back and forth a little bit. That was funny.
But it was just like how quick it happens. Like, and I kind of almost am like a hypochondriac, almost like that.
Mm-hmm.
Was still kind of am, but
you still are.
Yeah, but not like. I feel like it's not as bad.
But better.
Yeah, better. I feel a little better.
At least you're aware.
But yeah, it's like everything. It's not one thing. It's not just what you're drinking, what you're consuming or watching on TV, or how you're talking to people. It's like, it's everything buttoned up together for me. And I feel like if all that's going right, then everything else in my life is good. But
yeah,
I
agree. And I think that's with everybody. So like I was talking about the Rajasic or Tamazic, Rajasic, Sattvic, like Rajasic, that's up and down. So that's like the food you're eating, like the coffee, all the things, like your activity, what you're doing, your mind, and the combination of all of that starts to show up as nervous system, anxieties, like more high energy type things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're almost like self-indulgent, like there's something wrong with me, like thinking too much about yourself rather than thinking about other people.
It's hard to get out of the head sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
There's always, like, for me, is like, something I struggle with is like, oh, I should be here, I should be doing this, or I have this expectation on like business, and you just put so much on yourself, and it's like, I've kind of had to retrain my mind into like, trust the process. It's gonna happen when it's supposed to happen, if it's supposed to happen. Just enjoy the fucking ride.
Yeah.
Enjoy the journey. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Someone shared a quote on Instagram or something that said like, you were praying for where you're at today or something like that, or you used to pray to get where you're at today. And that's another thing me and Mike always talk about. Like 10 years ago, I was like, man, if I could just be making this amount of money, I'd be legit set. And I don't think people are, I think we're always wired to want more naturally, and it's hard to be satisfied. Content. There you go. Like where you're at, because you're always going to want more.
Yeah.
I think that's just human nature.
Agreed.
What part of your practice was most helpful when you getting over death? Like, because you started this, I feel like if my timeline's right, your husband passed, and then you started doing this shortly after.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've been on the journey for, I started practicing yoga when I was like 20. I'm 30, about to be 32 next week. But, and then I started my training in 2018. So I've been very aware. Thank God I had these like techniques and all, like a strong foundation, because I don't know if I would have been able to like move through that. But I think that's when it really like kicked off something deep. Like it was like a dark night of the soul, like shadow work. Like it just propelled me into a whole nother like timeline, if you will. What was your question?
What were some of the practices that you do today that helped you get over your loss?
So lots of like, I really would just let myself cry and like feel the emotions. So there's a pratyahara practice, withdrawing from the senses, feeling. And I would just, as you inhale, feeling, exhale, feeling. And you're kind of in a meditation, or you can lay down or however you want to do it. But you just feel, and let yourself just like process the grief, process the emotions. Because if you don't, then it starts to store in the body. So I was like very aware of that, and just like letting myself grieve however I needed to and however long that was going to take. So really just allowing myself to feel, definitely yoga practice, like the postures, classes, stuff like that. But really, I think just connecting with nature and journaling, all kinds of sitting in the sun. I can't tell you guys how many hours I just sat on my back porch in my layout chair and just sat. Yeah.
That's all the simple things that we really don't do these days.
Exactly. Just slowing down. Because after that happened, like what you were sharing with your anxiety, like I literally just shook. My nervous system was shot. I had the shakes for months, and like I couldn't stop it. And my teacher was like, you don't want to get rid of it. Just feel it. It's here for a reason. It's here to teach you something. Just let yourself sit in that and just be in it. And that's a hard one to accept, that, because it's like, we don't want to feel bad. We don't want to feel anxiety. We don't want to feel this. We don't want to feel that. It's like push it away, but instead just accepting it and being with it, feeling it, and being still, slowing down. And when I started this whole slowing down thing, I would catch myself going very fast. Like when I started to become aware, like I'm at my house and I'm like running up the stairs, and I caught myself like midway, and I'm like, girl, slow down. Like there's no rush. And I think all of society, we live like that. Go, 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 go. Do. More. And it's like, when do we ever just be?
Exactly. One vacation a year or whatever is the standard. But you're so right about that. When we feel we get scared, so then we take medicine. Like, I know so many people that are like, oh man, like I have a sore throat, I'm gonna take medicine, or I'm getting a fever, I'm gonna take medicine.
Mm-hmm.
But that's our body telling us that there's something wrong.
Trying to communicate.
And you need to change what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you have a temperature, your body's heating up to try to combat whatever's coming on. So kill a disease or whatever. But we take medicine, try to bring the temperature down.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we're never feeling.
Exactly.
And then
we've
when something
been taught
happens,
that feelings are bad too. So like growing up, like I was in a very like masculine household, and I was very sporty and all the things. It's like, don't cry, walk it off. So like I didn't cry till I was like mid-20s. I didn't even know how to cry.
Yeah.
And then like it's uncomfortable to start feeling your feelings and like paying attention to what's there,
I resonate with
especially
so
I
much
think
of
as
that.
men.
I resonate
Yeah.
a lot with that. I used to give Mike a hard time for being too, I know you remember the word. What was I?
Emotional?
Emotional, because Mike was real
Sensitive.
emotional. Sexual. Hot.
Hot.
Sexy. No.
Hell yeah.
Hard. No. But I used to, she like that
You
one.
did that.
Hard.
Oh my
But I used to say that, but it was very much the way I grew up. I just didn't cry, I didn't show emotion.
Mhm.
Guys aren't supposed to.
Right.
And it takes a lot to recognize that it's okay to be emotional.
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable for everybody, you know?
Yeah.
You don't learn that when you're little at all.
Mm.
So you have to navigate that when you're older.
Well,
I
even
feel like
when
this day and age, parents are
It's
getting a
almost
little more in tune, and it's too much. Probably.
it's too much now.
Yeah.
Now we've like overcorrected, and
it's the whole it's connected to the whole vegan thing. It's like from
Yeah.
one extreme to the next, like
Yeah.
versus like where's the balance?
yeah,
What is that school that people send their kids to at an early age? Montessori school.
Mhm.
It's kind of like that. That's like some of that's really cool, but some of it's like, what the hell? So it's like, don't yell at my kid. Let them process the information. Let them make the decision whether they're in trouble or not. Like some of that's like too much, but
Yeah.
it's also nice that they're talking about emotion and like they need to work through that and then accept that. But it's also like some of the kids are running the family, like they're
Mhm.
making the big decisions.
yeah. Well, it's, the parents are asking the kids like, "What do you want to do?"
Yeah.
Rather than ask like when I was a kid, my parents didn't ask me what I
Hell
wanted to do.
no.
Like, hey, you're gonna fucking do this.
Exactly.
And I think it's almost too like I don't think it should be the opposite way, but there should be a little bit.
There's
of a
value in
balance.
both.
Yeah,
There's
Yeah.
value in both for sure.
maybe not make all the decisions, but maybe like I don't know, like what do you want to wear to school today, kind of thing. Little dumb decisions that don't matter.
Or just being heard, you know?
Yeah,
Like at least your opinion or you're heard and your opinion is like accounted for or whatever, but ultimately you're the parents, you make the decisions, you know. And I think there's a fine line with like feeling the emotions, experiencing the emotions, and then becoming the emotion, because you can get stuck in that, and that's a whole victim thing too, you know, especially with some of the heavier ones, like the identification. And we're seeing that now so much in like society. There, like you're saying, there's a pill for everything, and oh, I have this and I have this and I have that, and it's like saying that just keeps reinforcing it.
yeah. Rather than just attacking the root of it.
Right.
Yeah. We're in some strange times. Whenever we're super comfortable and we have everything we need, and then we start bitching about whatever.
Dumb stuff.
Dumb stuff.
That doesn't even
We
matter.
should realize
First
that
world
this-
problems.
Yeah. We need to realize it's the best time to live right now and not complain about
Mm-hmm.
little shit. But as soon as the hard times come, you'll see a lot less of that.
Well, we just saw
complaining
that
about-
during COVID, right? We all thought for a little bit there it got
Yeah, it
it
was
got
less
kinda-
about presidential bullshit.
yeah,
It
it got
was
kind
more
of
about-
real for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but that quickly faded.
Yeah. I thought we were never going to get out of that. So it's kind of
We're kind of in it, aren't
people
we?
smell the bullshit.
Dude, I still see people driving around wearing masks.
Same.
Do you?
I see it
All the time. I don't know why, but it low key angers me.
Same.
I don't know why. I just get kind of like,
I always wear mine on the way to work. You never know.
it's gonna be like one of like, okay, you got your seatbelt on, all right, you got your mask on.
Yeah.
all right,
I
good
hate
to
when
go.
I get it caught in the seatbelt, though. Just got to figure out.
Just gotta figure out
the
how to do
routes.
it. Do you remember when we were all wearing it wasn't the mask, but we like down here in Texas we had the fisher thing.
Mm-hmm.
was
That you
like
can
the fisher
breathe
necks.
through like
Oh, yeah.
completely.
Yeah. Did you wear those?
I really did. I'm a rebel, y'all.
Are you really?
I didn't really wear a mask.
Who'd you vote for? She
I'm
got-
conservative.
Are you really?
Yeah.
You see the
that's cool.
cowboy hat?
Yeah.
Is that a cowboy? Is that called a cowboy hat?
This is not a cowboy
not.
hat.
It's
This
not.
is actually from Australia. So
Is it?
Oh.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's bow
So it's
hat.
so it's a
Yeah.
Australian cowboy hat. I got it.
Australia.
Yeah, it's more of like a fedora, like a wide brim.
My girlfriend has one.
Mm-hmm.
You go to little stores and make them. Did you make that one?
No, I bought this one.
No.
It's from
I
Australia.
found this feather though. I stuck it in there.
That's a good look.
Yeah. thank
There's
you.
some chicks on Instagram that make them. Have you seen those videos?
I have.
Those are addicting to
Some
watch.
of them are awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to a thing in Brazoria County recently at the fairgrounds. It's like an auction for the Houston livestock, the kids who were involved at the livestock, and they had a hat there. It's that C brand. I can't remember what it's called, but they like print them now, like a brand. And it looked bad, like any design you want, any like accessories, and that thing went for like thousands of dollars. I'm
The shit we pay for, dude.
There's these little shops in like Fredericksburg,
Mhm.
Boston, and it's a little store, and then they have all the colored hats you can think of, bare bone hats, and then they do all these custom things. They can burn things in them. They
exactly.
could decorate the brim. You pick your feather. It's sickening.
Yeah.
It's fun though.
My girlfriend
I love it.
always is like, let's go get one, and I'm like, no, because it's like $500.
After all the things, yeah.
Yeah. And it's not like worth that, but it's like they're trying to trying to make this experience for you where you're like customizing your thing.
It is an experience. They even give you like champagne. And
she's fetted.
Well, it's
they
like,
got her.
It's like the candle shop where you can go make your own candles, and they make it an experience when really you're just pouring wax and like that. Like you break it down, you're pouring wax and then some fragrance in it, but it's $100 per candle.
Yeah.
It is the experience, though, like you said. And I think people like experiences.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just like painting with a twist. I mean, it's like
Same thing.
That?
you drink and paint on a canvas. They just buy the canvases and then they're like, tell you what to paint or whatever. But you're still a shitty painter.
That's a good business model. Anything that you have alcohol at, you should have alcohol at your yoga studio.
I've thought about it. I actually,
Hell yeah.
so I actually I had a Galentine's event for, around Valentine's Day, and I did have wine, but I also had non-alcoholic wine because a lot of people don't drink anymore.
Yeah.
Like, surprisingly, a lot of people do not drink.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Everybody, like 20, 25 and below is like, it's a thing. They don't, like, I have to ask. I'm like, if I see a younger person, if I see a younger person now, I'm like, do you drink? Or like, if I'm going to offer something, it's like, do you drink first? It's not like, do you want to drink? Because most of the time they're like, no, I don't really drink.
It's so interesting.
Yeah.
They're higher consciousness. They're coming in. Even the kids now, like being brought in, they're coming in at a higher frequency. I think the collective consciousness on the planet is just rising. Alcohol is a low frequency thing,
Yeah.
and they're just more aware. Like a lot of the younger people I know, they take shrooms and like smoke pot and like just more earthy, like plant-based type stuff.
Well, they're lucky. All this shit's becoming
Starting to
legal, right? When they're coming here, and then all this information's on the internet now where all the studies on alcohol are coming out where it's not good, and so they're not starting early.
And I'm sure there's some household things, because I grew up in a party household, and it was kind of normalized drinking, and that's like a pattern that I've kind of been like working through. I was a party girl back in the day in college, and now I just drink a little bit, and it's fun. You don't have to drink to black out, right?
Yeah, I drink a lot too. I don't drink at all anymore.
Yeah, he's one of the ones, but he's not the new age.
I think over time you kind of get less and less. Like, that's my goal,
I think I had kids, so I think that's what put the goal. Well, my wife doesn't drink.
Okay.
That's the biggest thing. If your wife drank, then you would probably drink more.
Probably. There would be some times when she first moved. She moved from Ohio. That she'd move, and then she moved down, and I'd be cooking, and I'd be drinking a beer, and I was like, well, you don't want to drink? And it's boring drinking by yourself, right? But also, you get fat when you drink, so.
That's why I'm fasting right now.
So you can drink.
How are you going to break the fast?
Bloated.
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the whole cooking, have a glass of wine thing. Like, I enjoy that.
It's It's fun.
It is addicting, though.
Yeah. You can't have just one, though.
And it's the act of. So, like, when I go through periods where I don't drink, I have before, and I still get my wine glass. I put my Topo Chico in there, make a little mocktail, put some rosemary, whatever, whatever I garnish it with.
Fake it.
I just like the wine glass.
Yeah. Yeah, there is something about, like, barbecuing on the weekend where you need a can or a bottle of something to drink while you're by the pit.
Mm-hmm.
But now they have pellet grills. So now, like, that's not
you don't actually have to be there, like, doing
stoking the fire.
So now you don't have to drink it
I
all.
know. Well, that's kind of what helped it, too. It's like, I don't have to do this shit anymore.
Well, they started making the non-alcoholic beers, and it's like, if I'm going to consume all these calories, I don't even want to do that. I'd rather just drink water.
No, it's more.
They have Heineken now. There's like zero at the gas station a couple weeks ago. I went in. I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna get some Heineken." Picked it up, paid, got to wherever I was going. I'm like, "These are fucking alcohol free. I don't want to drink them."
That sucks.
I can't. Unless you're just trying to quit. That just does make sense.
Yeah.
Because they have IPAs and stuff now that are alcohol free.
Those IPAs, they're heavy. Like, they've got like 200 calories in them. Like, in
it's not
one.
worth it. You might as well drink a Coca-Cola.
I know.
Right.
They're thick as hell, dude.
Yeah. I don't like that.
I'm the same way.
You have a problem.
I probably have a problem.
Drinking.
You want to talk about it?
Let's talk about it.
No, I want to quit too, but I don't want to quit.
This is where he blames his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Hey, I hear you, man. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
But I can stop for a long period of time, but it's that social all of our circle drinks. So it's if we go somewhere it's that. But when you're talking about like filling up your wine glass with Topo Chico or whatever, that really does work.
Mm-hmm.
It goes a long ways, because we used to go dancing, and actually out in your area, remember Big Texas?
Yeah.
So we used to go there and announce rowdies or whatever. I used to live over there.
Okay.
But we every once in a while we would do like soda and lime, just soda and lime. And we would drink a bunch of them. The bartenders hate it, but you drink a bunch of them, and it feels like you're doing the same thing you always do.
It's the same thing. Yep. I did it yesterday, actually. I played golf, and then we went over to the fill station. I was like, make me a crafty mocktail. Like, Topo Chico with, like, cucumbers, jalapeno. I was like, make it a little spicy, because that's how I normally drink it, with vodka or gin or something. But, yeah, and it's like, you just hang out, same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm realizing you don't really need the alcohol aspect. I like to have the drink, though. Like you said, there's something with having the bottle or the can or the,
It's
cup.
tough being the person not drinking, though.
It is.
Yeah. We were joking, too, because, like, me and my boyfriend were kind of like the party boy, party girl thing back in the day. And he goes, I never thought I'd see the day where we were both out at a bar, like, not drinking.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool, though. It's empowering,
Yeah.
If you're with the right crowd, it can be. But if
Yeah.
you're with this guy who tries to peer pressure you into drinking.
I don't do that anymore. I've done that,
Not anymore.
I've done that before, and he just cries all the time.
I'm guilty as well.
Guilty as charged.
I like the part of drinking that allows you to open up a lot more in conversation. Like, I've had some of the best buzz conversations, and I know a lot of people that never open up until they start drinking a little bit. So, and I always call them out. Like, I'll point them, like, there you are. Where have you been? Like,
there he is. Yeah.
It's mainly girls that I know that are part of our, like, family or whatever. But I'll always point, and I'm like, why can't you just be like this all the time?
I can really resonate with that. Like, growing up, I was very quiet, like, super shy, like, almost painfully shy. And then kind of started drinking at a young age, like maybe 16 or so. But, like, I've noticed that I would, like, open up, and I'm, like, funny and, like, don't care and, all the things. And I'm like, this is cool. So I think for a while I would drink, like, purposefully to, like, get to that point. And then I would just make these connections. But now I'm like, I know myself. I'm confident in myself. I've found my voice, all the things. I don't really need to do that anymore,
Yeah.
But I totally resonate with that.
I wonder what it is. Are they just guarded?
It's just alcohol makes you not give a shit. So
Guarded, like
that.
lack of connecting. I don't know. I think everybody has their own kind of personal traumas and reasons,
Yeah.
yeah, walls up. Some
Sure.
people get really fixated on the things they say, like how, like, if it's wrong, maybe it's something small to us, like, hey, how was your day? And then you give a look, and then, like, I wouldn't think twice about it. But some people will be like, did I make them mad? Did I do this? Did I do that? So
Like
then they get real caught up
in
in the cycle in their brain of just, like, are they disappointing people? So that's, like, one part of that it could be, and so they never really can open up and just be themselves. So it could boil down to confidence and knowing who you are, and not caring what people think.
I see it a lot at work. We work in a corporate environment, and every time there's a function, and the people that are robots at work become people whenever they start drinking a little bit. And we had those moments of like, oh shit, this guy's actually kind of cool, or this girl's pretty cool. But at work, it's just the stone cold.
Well, that's a different environment, too. I feel like you kind of have to keep and then if you already struggle with opening up to people, then it's probably intensified,
For sure.
Yeah.
And then they go too far at some of the events where it's like, man, this person's an asshole. So you gotta find that.
Backfires a little
You're
bit.
like, too far.
Yeah.
It's funny. I think the younger generation is changing all that, though.
Totally agree.
I don't know if it's for the better or not, but
I know, I'm getting like the old man kind of feeling, like, fucking ruining shit.
fucking kids.
Fucking
Oh,
kids, man.
right.
I don't know why, but I'm already getting that way.
Well, with all of them, or what?
Just like
Meetings?
let's focus on fitness and don't drink and just be boring. So it's like,
You hate that.
no, I like it, but I it's probably a little jealousy because I didn't think that way when I was younger.
Sure.
I wish I had
Yeah.
had that kind of. I just think we're in a better, like we were talking about before. It's just we're in a better time where, like, you didn't talk about mushrooms and stuff when I was younger. It was like, you're a fucking crackhead if you talked about like some of these recreational drugs now that are just normal. So now they're coming into this thing where it's okay to smoke pot. When we fucking wore dare shirts and you're the devil if you did it. Now it's like cool. Like it's like you want to be healthy, smoke pot. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I remember the kids when I was in high school. The kids that smoked pot were the kids that smoked pot.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Dropout
those
losers.
Those are those kids. You don't want to be a loser.
No.
Yeah.
Those are those kids. You don't want to be with those. You want to be the kid that drinks.
Different in my time. Because how old are y'all?
Ah, shit. I'm 35.
Okay,
not that much older.
I don't know, because my high school was a little different. It was like...
We went to Kemah, though.
Yeah, that's true.
That's like a party central. That's like partying all the time, I imagine. Just cocaine off of asses and all kinds of weird shit.
She
didn't deny it.
Like, I didn't do all that, but like...
Just wait for it to
not then.
Not yet.
Not in high school. Shit.
I don't know.
No, but I don't know. I think for me, like a lot of people in high school smoked pot, and we would still like play sports and like, I don't know. It's just different. Yeah.
Yeah, it probably depends on the school you go to.
Yeah.
Area. I grew up in a small town outside of Austin, so
yeah,
there drinking was the thing, but smoking, you didn't smoke.
Yeah, because drinking was already accepted.
Yeah.
So now,
society,
but before it wasn't. It was like, no, you're drinking, you're bad. But now it's like drugs are that way now too.
Yeah.
And some weird ones too. Some weird ones. You know, pot made it through, but mushrooms was like always like, or acid. Acid, you're like, oh, you're gonna ruin your life. You're gonna melt your brain.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get stuck. Like, okay, I did go to high school with this guy who like did acid all the time, and he got stuck in like another like dimension or whatever.
What?
Thought he was like a banana.
What?
I'm not bullshitting.
Still?
Like I don't know. It's been years, but yeah, he like thought he was like it fucked him up.
How long was he banana when you knew him?
It was like really all through high school.
He was messed up through high school?
Yeah, it like did something. But maybe there was other things happening. I don't know. But everybody said it's like the acid, you know? So I was scared. Like
Stay away from acid.
Yeah. But
that's crazy. That's scary.
some of that stuff, like on mushrooms too, like you can have a bad trip and all the things, you know? I have friends now talking about, I'm scared to have a bad trip. And I'm like, it's just a reflection of what's going on in your mind.
Do you do mushrooms?
Mm-hmm.
You do? I've done it one time with him, but I didn't take enough.
You gotta do a God dose.
Like, what is that?
Like a lot.
I'm scared to do that.
Don't be scared.
Why? Don't be scared. I thought you were supposed to ease me in this.
No.
Don't be crazy.
Yeah, when you
have
do
you
a
never had a
God.
bad trip?
No.
What?
How often do you do
Yeah,
it?
how many times have you done it?
I don't know.
I'm on one right now.
No, really not that often. Maybe probably 10, 15 times.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, you're a lucky person because one will make you not want to do it no more.
One bad trip.
How long does a trip last?
Depends how much you take, but a while. For me anyways. I'm kind of sensitive to stuff, so it like kicks in quick and it lasts forever. I don't know, 8 hours maybe.
God, really?
How much you taking?
I don't know, 3 grams or so.
3 grams of your size?
2-3 grams.
Regular?
Mm-hmm.
Regular? What's regular? Like
There's some that are more potent
Really?
that you can take less with.
Yeah.
What? I don't even know how much we did, but we did like a micro dose. I did like a micro of a micro. I
I
think.
gave you a shiitake.
I don't know. I don't know what that is. What is that?
Just one that you can eat, you cook with.
Yeah.
Is that why?
Yeah.
You
It's
son
a
of a bitch.
placebo.
You son of
I
a
made it all
bitch.
serious, like, be careful.
Is that it? Really?
Yeah, dude.
No, because the girl that came, she had them.
Mm.
Do you remember that?
Mm-mm.
Maybe you took too much that time.
No.
I
We
used
had-
to microdose daily though for
Really?
a period of time. Yeah, just a little tiny bit. You don't trip or anything. Like you still get in your car and drive, and you can go about your day. But it's like the world just looks a little different. You feel more connected. The grass looks like super green, and like I don't know. You just feel very at peace.
Is that what you're growing in the garden?
What?
Is that what you're growing in your garden?
No, I wish. You gotta have cows and all the things.
No, you can get a fish tank.
Oh, you can. Yeah, you can grow them, but you gotta do it in the closet. I googled all this. It's too much work. It's too much work.
You want to get connected, dude. Making your own is probably the ultimate
That's the next
connection.
level, right? But you gotta be careful because if you mess up like just a little bit, things can kill you.
Not if you do the right strand.
Well, I know, but if you like mess up on the process of like growing them and stuff, if they get like a mold or,
That's funny because it is a mold
yeah, but
or a fungus.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's just a fear that I
Don't be
have or
scared,
something
man.
I heard.
No, I'm scared. See, I'm scared I'll get the wrong fucking shit laced with Fentanyl or something.
Oh my god, that is a thing, but I don't think you have to worry about
Mushrooms
that
with fentanyl. That's a thing.
No, just the fentanyl.
Yeah.
Like that's scary.
The sheriff that we had in here said that's what he's like. If there was a problem for Brazoria County, that's the problem that he's most worried about.
Yeah,
the fentanyl problem.
It's a big issue. Yeah, and I think the kids now, they can't really like experiment with stuff because like I mean I know a handful of people who've like taken a pill and it was fentanyl and passed away.
Shit.
A pill?
Really?
Mm-hmm. Or did some coke and died, you know? And to me, it's like not even worth it to like.
Can't you? I feel like he should know this, but didn't we were talking about this? Like, if there's too much fentanyl, even the whiff can kill you.
You brought that up. But yeah, someone
confirmed it. Did they confirm it?
You said that, and then no one believed it. But then I heard it again. That
y'all two didn't believe it. The sheriff and Mike. Can you confirm it for us?
Well, I don't know, but I do know that all it takes is a little tiny bit.
Yeah, it's got to be able to enter your body, so if it does mist through your mouth, it can get in your bloodstream.
There's this story.
Even on your skin, I guess. So
there's the story where the cops pulled over somebody, and he had drugs, and they popped the trunk, and he was going in to look at it, and he didn't touch it. He just went in and breathed it.
Oh my gosh!
And he passed out. They had to give him I always forget what's the thing called.
You said that last time, and I said EpiPen, like fully confident.
Well, they had to give him the thing.
That's what I was thinking.
What is it called?
What do you think? I don't fucking know.
They had to give him the thing. They had to
give
him the thing to
reverse it.
Yeah, I forget what it's called, but it's a shot.
Adrenaline.
I don't know. There's a name for it. We sound like a bunch of fucking morons now, but
I don't remember.
I don't know. Well, Ceseli.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, what you got?
I was not going to say anything.
Well, we had fun just over an hour here. How can people find you on social media and your yoga studio?
So you can Google the yoga studio, Sri, S-R-I. People are always like, how do you pronounce it? It's S-R-I, and Sri means like resplendence, beauty, love, like all the things. So that's why I chose that name. So Google, and then on Instagram, Shri.yogaschool, and then my personal page, Ceseli Slovacek.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much. We had a great time with you.
Thank you.
Love.
What the fuck did he just say?
Love.
I like how you say that.